In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, beneath the dust of millennia, lies a civilization that continues to baffle historians and scientists alike, the Sumerians. Often called the cradle of civilization, they built the first cities, invented writing, and charted the heavens. Yet beyond these remarkable achievements, there lingers a deeper mystery, knowledge so advanced it challenges everything we think we know about human history. Imagine a forgotten chamber, its walls lined with clay tablets etched in cuneiform script, glowing faintly in candlelight. Whispers of forbidden knowledge echo through the corridors of time, secrets of the cosmos, technology, and perhaps even humanity's origin. Science studies fragments of their legacy, but much remains unexplained. Was this knowledge merely myth, or did the Sumerians truly possess science lost to time? Tonight, we journey beyond textbooks and into shadows where myth meets reality. We will unravel the hidden truths, the forbidden science of the Sumerians, and confront the chilling question, is history as we know it just a carefully crafted illusion? The answers may change everything we thought we knew about our past. Around 4000 BCE, in the fertile plains between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a remarkable civilization emerged, the Sumerians. They were the architects of the first cities, the pioneers of writing, and the inventors of systems that shaped human history. Cities like Uruk, and Eridu rose from mud brick foundations, their ziggurats piercing the heavens as monuments to human ingenuity. Yet, beyond the archaeological marvels, the Sumerians left behind whispers of something far deeper, knowledge that refuses to be explained by conventional science. Mainstream history portrays the Sumerians as the founders of civilization. They developed cuneiform script, mastered irrigation, and created the first legal codes. Their myths, stories of gods, creation, and kingship, are often studied as symbolic narratives. But alternative researchers argue that these myths may conceal encoded records of real events, advanced technologies, and astronomical data that surpass modern understanding. The Sumerian king list, for instance, names rulers who reigned for thousands of years. Such claims challenge our concepts of history. Their texts contain sophisticated astronomical observations, mathematical knowledge, and intricate cosmologies that hint at something far more advanced than a Bronze Age society should possess. Some scholars dismiss these as myth and metaphor, but others insist they are fragments of forbidden knowledge deliberately hidden or misunderstood. This contrast, official history versus hidden truth, is the thread we follow in our journey. It is not merely a study of ancient artifacts, but an exploration of ideas that could rewrite human history. Were the Sumerians merely gifted inventors, or custodians of knowledge from an unknown source? Their civilization vanished over 4,000 years ago, but their legacy still challenges the foundations of science and history. As we step into the enigma of their world, we must suspend certainty and embrace possibility. The story of the Sumerians is not just the story of a people but a question: what if our history has been stripped of its deepest secrets? Tonight, we begin unraveling that question. From the clay tablets buried in forgotten ruins to the myths that whisper across time, we will delve into the forbidden knowledge of a civilization that still speaks to us. In this shadowed light, history is no longer certain, it is a mystery waiting to be unveiled. Buried under centuries of sand and ruin, the clay tablets of ancient Sumer remain one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. These fragments of a lost world, inscribed in cuneiform script, are not merely relics of record-keeping, they are cryptic messages from a civilization that may have understood secrets beyond our grasp. Among these tablets, some stand out for their extraordinary content: creation myths, star charts, king lists, and strange accounts that defy ordinary explanation. One of the most famous is the Enuma Elish, often called the Babylonian creation epic, which describes the universe's birth, the rise of gods, and the origins of mankind. To scholars, it is a myth, a poetic reflection of ancient cosmology. But others see it differently, a coded archive of real events, perhaps describing actual knowledge passed down from a forgotten age. The precise astronomical details within suggest the Sumerians possessed observational accuracy far beyond what should have been possible without telescopes or advanced instruments. Equally puzzling is the Sumerian king list, an ancient record naming rulers who reigned for tens of thousands of years. Mainstream historians often dismiss these as symbolic exaggerations. Yet, the consistency of these figures across multiple tablets suggests something deliberate. Could they be preserving the memory of an entirely different chronology, a history erased by time and myth? Or were these numbers a coded method of preserving forbidden knowledge about cycles of time and celestial events? The Venus tablet of Ammisaduqa offers another enigma. It contains detailed observations of Venus's movement, recorded centuries before such precision should have been possible. Modern science confirms the accuracy of these records, yet it cannot explain how the Sumerians acquired this knowledge. Were they gifted with advanced astronomical insight? Or were they inheritors of knowledge from an unknown source? The tablets also speak of strange technologies, celestial journeys, and the intervention of beings from beyond Earth. In the language of myth, they describe the Anunnaki, gods who descended from the heavens and brought wisdom to mankind. Whether these are allegories or literal accounts remains one of archaeology's greatest debates. What makes the tablets extraordinary is not just their content, but their deliberate secrecy. These were not casual writings, they were encoded messages, often hidden in poetic myth. This creates a tension between mainstream scholarship, which treats these records as symbolic storytelling, and alternative researchers, who see them as genuine records of forbidden knowledge. This tension lies at the heart of the Sumerian mystery, the idea that truth may be veiled in symbolism, waiting for the right key to unlock it. In this section of our journey, we begin to confront the possibility that the tablets are not merely ancient literature, but pieces of a larger puzzle. They are the remnants of a language not only designed to communicate but perhaps to conceal. Each tablet is a fragment of an enigma, a whisper of knowledge that science still cannot fully explain. The question remains, were these tablets a record of imagination or memory, myth or reality? And if reality, what truths might they hold about humanity's origins, the cosmos, and the knowledge that was deliberately hidden from us? As we delve deeper into the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians, we must hold both skepticism and wonder in equal measure. One of the most compelling mysteries of the Sumerians lies not in their cities, but in the sky above them. For a civilization thousands of years ago, their understanding of astronomy was astonishing, so precise that even modern science struggles to explain it. Hidden in their clay tablets are records of star charts, planetary movements, and cycles of the heavens that defy conventional timelines and technological limits. Among these is the Venus tablet of Ammisaduqa, a record of Venus's appearance and disappearance over a span of decades. The accuracy of these observations is extraordinary, noting details that could only be detected with precise astronomical tools. Modern astronomers confirm that the data is correct, yet they cannot explain how a Bronze Age civilization achieved such precision without telescopes or advanced instruments. This raises a profound question: was Sumerian astronomy the result of divine inspiration, advanced technology, or knowledge handed down from an earlier, forgotten civilization? But the Venus tablet is not the only puzzle. Other tablets include star maps charting constellations with incredible accuracy, and astronomical records predicting celestial cycles far beyond their time. These are not simple myths or symbolic stories, they suggest knowledge of the cosmos that remains unexplained even today. For centuries, scholars assumed such knowledge could only come from later civilizations, but evidence points to the Sumerians as pioneers of an ancient science now lost. The implications are staggering. If the Sumerians truly had this knowledge, then their understanding of the universe was far beyond the accepted limits of Bronze Age science. Some researchers suggest they inherited it from a more advanced source, perhaps the Anunnaki, as described in their myths. According to these accounts, these beings descended from the heavens, bringing knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and timekeeping. Such theories challenge not only history but our understanding of human potential. Modern science approaches these claims with skepticism, citing gaps in evidence and the difficulty of interpreting myths literally. Yet the precision of the Sumerian records cannot be dismissed outright. The contrast between what science accepts and what remains unexplained is the very essence of this mystery. Were these ancient star charts the result of divine wisdom, a lost technological achievement, or something deliberately hidden from humanity? There is also a haunting suggestion that this knowledge may have been deliberately concealed. Ancient texts hint at cycles of catastrophe tied to celestial events, knowledge perhaps too dangerous to share openly. If true, the Sumerians were custodians of forbidden truths, wisdom about the workings of the cosmos that we are only beginning to rediscover. As we stand under the same night sky the Sumerians once studied, we cannot help but wonder, how much of our own scientific knowledge might be a rediscovery of something ancient. Their astronomical secrets suggest a civilization that was not merely recording the heavens, but unlocking them. And perhaps, within those lost star maps and celestial codes, lies a truth that modern science has yet to comprehend. Tonight, we follow those ancient charts deeper into mystery, as we move toward the heart of the Sumerian enigma, the question of whether their astronomical science was a gift, a discovery, or a forbidden legacy. Among the many enigmas of the Sumerians, none is more provocative than the legend of the Anunnaki. Described in their myths as gods who descended from the heavens, the Anunnaki are portrayed as powerful beings who shaped the destiny of humanity. To modern ears, these tales may sound like ancient religion, but some researchers believe they contain fragments of truth, records of encounters between humanity and an advanced race. The word Anunnaki appears in numerous Sumerian texts, most prominently in the Enuma Elish and the Epic of Gilgamesh. That if so, these ancient records are not relics of the past but blueprints for the future. The challenge lies in deciphering them. Are we ready to uncover what was intentionally hidden? There is also a profound philosophical dimension. If knowledge can be lost, suppressed, or deliberately concealed, what does that mean for human progress? The story of the Sumerians forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, control, and the fragility of civilization. It suggests that knowledge is not just a tool for advancement but a force that can be guarded, hidden, and weaponized. Modern science is only beginning to rediscover what the Sumerians might have known. From the revival of archaeoastronomy to breakthroughs in ancient languages, new discoveries are constantly reshaping our understanding of their world. Yet the deeper we go, the more questions arise. Are we on the verge of recovering a lost science, or are these mysteries destined to remain beyond our reach? The Sumerian legacy challenges humanity to rethink its place in the cosmos. It reminds us that history is not fixed and that the past may still hold answers to the greatest questions of the present, questions about where we come from, who we are, and what we might become. As we approach the end of this journey, the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians becomes not just an archaeological mystery, but a living enigma, one that reaches across time and challenges us to look beyond the limits of our current understanding. These beings are depicted as coming from a distant realm beyond Earth, descending to share knowledge, technology, and laws. Some interpretations suggest they mined precious resources, taught agriculture, and introduced writing. But more controversial theories claim that the Anunnaki were not mythic deities but extraterrestrial visitors who genetically engineered humans to serve them. Mainstream archaeology dismisses these claims, treating them as interpretations of mythology. Yet the consistency of Anunnaki references across multiple Sumerian texts, combined with the civilization's advanced knowledge, raises challenging questions. Could these myths encode the memory of real events? Was there a hidden history in which humans encountered beings of superior knowledge? The descriptions of the Anunnaki in Sumerian literature are unusually detailed. They speak of origins from a heavenly domain, journeys across the skies, and imparting knowledge of agriculture, architecture, astronomy, and medicine. If taken literally, this would mean the Sumerians were recording events that involved technologies and abilities far beyond their era. This aligns with other mysteries, from the Sumerian king list to astronomical records, suggesting that their civilization may have been shaped by forces still unknown to us. The idea of the Anunnaki is not purely speculative. It touches on one of the most profound questions of human history: have we been visited by advanced beings, and is our history more than we realize? The Anunnaki narrative straddles the line between mythology and possible reality, offering a tantalizing possibility that humanity's origins are not as simple as we have been told. This creates a striking contrast: On one side, Orthodox history insists that the Sumerians were an extraordinary yet entirely human civilization. On the other, alternative theories suggest they were the recipients of knowledge from beyond Earth, the inheritors of a cosmic legacy. This is the heart of the Anunnaki mystery, a question that blurs the line between science and myth, and forces us to re-evaluate the origins of human knowledge. The deeper we explore, the more we see that the Sumerian record is not just about gods or kings, but about hidden truths. The Anunnaki, whether symbolic or real, remain central to the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians. Their legacy is etched in tablets, myths, and astronomical records, a legacy that continues to challenge science, history, and the imagination. As we move further into this mystery, the question remains, were the Anunnaki divine teachers, mythic allegories, or something far stranger? The answer could reshape everything we believe about our past, and perhaps even about ourselves. Beyond their myths and astronomical records, the Sumerians left behind evidence of technology that still baffles modern science. From metallurgy to hydraulics, and possibly energy systems, their civilization exhibited engineering skills that challenge conventional timelines. Some scholars view these as extraordinary achievements of an advanced Bronze Age society. Others argue they point toward a hidden legacy, forbidden knowledge that was deliberately erased or lost. The irrigation systems of Sumer were among the most advanced of their time. Canals, reservoirs, and aqueducts brought water across vast distances, enabling agriculture to flourish in an otherwise arid land. This mastery of hydraulic engineering suggests a deep understanding of environmental manipulation, far beyond what most civilizations could accomplish. But for some researchers, the precision and scale hint at knowledge inherited from a more advanced source. Metallurgy, too, offers enigmas. Sumerian artisans worked with alloys and materials that required sophisticated smelting processes. Copper, tin, and even mysterious alloys found in artifacts pose questions about the origin of such technology. Was it an innovation of the Sumerians themselves, or was it knowledge passed down from the Anunnaki or another unknown source? Even more striking are the Sumerian texts describing tools and devices that sound more like science fiction than archaeology. References to machines and energy sources appear in their myths and records. These are not fully understood, and mainstream science tends to interpret them as metaphor. Yet some researchers suggest these descriptions could be remnants of real technology, perhaps lost to history through deliberate suppression. This brings us to the idea of forbidden knowledge. The Sumerians were not merely inventors, they may have been custodians of wisdom too dangerous or powerful to be widely known. Their records speak of knowledge linked to the cosmos, time cycles, and even human creation. If these claims hold truth, it would mean that much of our understanding of science and history is incomplete, deliberately so. The notion of suppression is not without precedent. History records countless examples of lost knowledge, from the Library of Alexandria to destroyed archives in Mesopotamia. Were the Sumerians victims of such erasure? Did their secrets vanish under the weight of conquest, ideology, or deliberate concealment? If so, the forbidden knowledge they left behind might still be encoded in their myths, waiting to be uncovered. This section of our journey forces us to confront a difficult question: if such knowledge existed, why was it hidden? Was it to protect humanity from dangerous power, or to control the destiny of our species? The Sumerian legacy suggests that knowledge is not always meant to be free, and that some truths are buried intentionally. As we examine the mysteries of their technology, we begin to see a pattern. The Sumerians were not merely chroniclers of the past, they were keepers of secrets that challenged the foundations of modern science. Their legacy is more than a story of invention, it is a warning. Somewhere in the clay tablets, myths, and ruins lies a truth that could change everything we believe about human history and our place in the cosmos. The story of the Sumerians is not only written in stone and clay but also in what has been lost, and if so, these ancient records are not relics of the past but blueprints for the future. The challenge lies in deciphering them. Are we ready to uncover what was intentionally hidden? There is also a profound philosophical dimension. If knowledge can be lost, suppressed, or deliberately concealed, what does that mean for human progress? The story of the Sumerians forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, control, and the fragility of civilization. It suggests that knowledge is not just a tool for advancement but a force that can be guarded, hidden, and weaponized. Modern science is only beginning to rediscover what the Sumerians might have known. From the revival of archaeoastronomy to breakthroughs in ancient languages, new discoveries are constantly reshaping our understanding of their world. Yet the deeper we go, the more questions arise. Are we on the verge of recovering a lost science, or are these mysteries destined to remain beyond our reach? The Sumerian legacy challenges humanity to rethink its place in the cosmos. It reminds us that history is not fixed and that the past may still hold answers to the greatest questions of the present, questions about where we come from, who we are, and what we might become. As we approach the end of this journey, the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians becomes not just an archaeological mystery, but a living enigma, one that reaches across time and challenges us to look beyond the limits of our current understanding. Across history, countless archives of knowledge have vanished, and the Sumerians were no exception. Ancient records speak of vast libraries filled with cuneiform tablets containing the collective wisdom of a civilization. Yet today, so much of it lies in ruins or has been destroyed, leaving gaps in our understanding and fueling the mystery of forbidden knowledge. One of the most famous losses is the destruction of the great libraries of Mesopotamia. Cities like Babylon and Uruk were centers of learning, housing collections of tablets on astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and theology. These were not mere archives, they were repositories of a civilization's most guarded secrets. The burning, looting, or disappearance of these collections over centuries represents a profound loss to human history. Some researchers suggest that these losses were not accidental. Conquest, political change, and religious reform have often led to the deliberate destruction of knowledge. Could the same have happened to the Sumerians? If so, the fragments we still possess might be only a fraction of what once existed, the remainder intentionally erased to conceal truths that challenge the prevailing order. The missing records make the surviving tablets even more enigmatic. They are scattered clues to a larger story that has been broken and hidden. Within these fragments lie the myths of the Anunnaki, astronomical observations, technological descriptions, and king lists that hint at a much deeper history. But without the complete archives, the full picture remains tantalizingly out of reach. This pattern of loss creates a haunting possibility, that the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians was systematically suppressed. Whether through war, religious censorship, or the collapse of civilizations, the truth may have been buried with them. If this is true, then what we know of the Sumerians is not the whole story. We have inherited only pieces of a puzzle, with the rest lying hidden, waiting to be rediscovered. As we look deeper into history, it becomes clear that what is missing may be just as important as what has survived. The lost libraries of the Sumerians are not merely an archaeological tragedy, they are a sign that knowledge has been guarded, controlled, and perhaps intentionally concealed. This idea lies at the heart of the mystery we are exploring. The fragments that remain invite us to question, what was deliberately hidden, and why? Was this knowledge considered too dangerous, too powerful, or too disruptive to survive? And if so, could those ancient secrets still be buried somewhere, waiting for a future civilization to uncover them once more? The story of the lost libraries reminds us that history is not only shaped by what we discover but also by what is taken from us. In the case of the Sumerians, those missing records may hold the key to the forbidden knowledge that continues to elude modern science. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of the Sumerians, we encounter a growing tension, the struggle between mainstream science and the revelations hidden in ancient texts. For centuries, academia has approached the Sumerian legacy with skepticism, treating myths as allegories and extraordinary claims as exaggerations. Yet the evidence continues to challenge these dismissals, forcing science to grapple with uncomfortable questions. Mainstream historians explain the Sumerian mysteries within a framework of gradual human development. Advanced astronomy is attributed to careful observation over generations. Long reigns and the king lists are dismissed as symbolic or mythological. References to advanced technology are treated as poetic imagery. This cautious approach is a cornerstone of science, but it also creates a boundary. Anything outside the accepted model of history is often labeled fringe, disregarded without full investigation. On the other side of the debate, alternative researchers argue that the scientific establishment is resisting revelations that could upend foundational beliefs about human history. They point to the precision of Sumerian astronomy, the complexity of their technology, and the consistency of myths across millennia as evidence that the Sumerians possessed knowledge deliberately concealed from us. These claims, though controversial, demand careful consideration. This conflict is not merely academic, it touches on deeper questions of truth, control, and human curiosity. What if the reason science struggles to accept these possibilities is not because they are false, but because they challenge deeply held assumptions about who we are and where we come from? If forbidden knowledge exists, its revelation would disrupt the boundaries of modern science. The struggle between skepticism and revelation mirrors the larger mystery itself. Science requires proof, yet much of the Sumerian legacy is incomplete, fragmented, and open to interpretation. This creates fertile ground for both doubt and wonder. Scholars demand evidence, while the anomalies in the record keep the possibility of revelation alive. The Sumerian story reminds us that history is not fixed, it is a living dialogue between what we know and what we choose to believe. The tension between skepticism and revelation is a driving force that keeps the mystery alive. It is this tension that compels us to keep searching, questioning, and looking beyond the accepted narrative. As we stand at the crossroads of myth and science, we are forced to ask, is skepticism the gatekeeper of truth, or a barrier to discovery? And if revelation lies ahead, how much of what we believe about the past will survive the truth? The Sumerian legacy challenges us to confront that question. It insists that the line between science and myth is not fixed, and that perhaps the greatest mystery is not what the Sumerians knew, but what we are willing to accept about their knowledge. If the Sumerians truly possessed forbidden knowledge, the question remains, what does it mean for us today? The implications stretch far beyond archaeology, challenging not only our history but the very foundations of modern science, technology, and philosophy. The legacy of the Sumerians is not confined to dusty tablets, it may hold keys to humanity's future. The precision of their astronomical records, the complexity of their myths, and the possibility of advanced technology suggest a civilization that was in touch with knowledge that has been lost to time. If such knowledge existed, it could alter our understanding of physics, astronomy, and even the nature of consciousness itself. Could we, with the right interpretation, recover parts of this knowledge and use it to advance our civilization? This is not mere speculation, it is a question that has inspired scientists, historians, and truth-seekers alike. Some researchers suggest that the Sumerians left encoded instructions within their myths and tablets, instructions for technology, energy systems, or even philosophical truths about the universe. If so, these ancient records are not relics of the past but blueprints for the future. The challenge lies in deciphering them. Are we ready to uncover what was intentionally hidden? There is also a profound philosophical dimension. If knowledge can be lost, suppressed, or deliberately concealed, what does that mean for human progress? The story of the Sumerians forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, control, and the fragility of civilization. It suggests that knowledge is not just a tool for advancement but a force that can be guarded, hidden, and weaponized. Modern science is only beginning to rediscover what the Sumerians might have known. From the revival of archaeoastronomy to breakthroughs in ancient languages, new discoveries are constantly reshaping our understanding of their world. Yet the deeper we go, the more questions arise. Are we on the verge of recovering a lost science, or are these mysteries destined to remain beyond our reach? The Sumerian legacy challenges humanity to rethink its place in the cosmos. It reminds us that history is not fixed and that the past may still hold answers to the greatest questions of the present, questions about where we come from, who we are, and what we might become. As we approach the end of this journey, the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians becomes not just an archaeological mystery, but a living enigma, one that reaches across time and challenges us to look beyond the limits of our current understanding. The story of the Sumerians is not a closed chapter of history. It is a living mystery that continues to challenge our understanding of who we are and where we come from. Their legacy, etched in clay tablets, star charts, myths, and fragments of lost libraries, is not simply a record of a civilization long gone. It is a question mark that stretches across millennia. Throughout our journey, we have encountered astonishing possibilities, advanced astronomy, impossible reigns of kings, references to otherworldly beings, and hints of lost technology. The Sumerians left us not just facts but riddles, fragments of knowledge that remain unfinished, deliberately concealed, or destroyed. Science offers explanations, but these are often incomplete, leaving the door open to speculation and wonder. This is the heart of forbidden knowledge. It exists in the space between certainty and mystery. What the Sumerians truly knew may never be fully recovered. The surviving fragments are tantalizing clues, but they are not enough to reconstruct the whole truth. Perhaps that truth was never meant to be uncovered, perhaps it was hidden to protect humanity from forces we were not ready to wield. Or perhaps it was concealed to keep a cosmic secret from slipping beyond control. The Sumerian enigma forces us to confront a profound question: how much of our history has been lost, and how much has been deliberately erased? If knowledge can be hidden, the past becomes a living mystery, not a static record, but a puzzle to be solved. And in that puzzle lies a deeper truth: history is not just the story of what happened, but the story of what we choose to remember. As we close this journey into the forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians, we are left with more questions than answers. Were the Anunnaki real? Was Sumerian science truly advanced beyond its time? And most importantly, what does their legacy mean for us today? These are not questions that can be answered definitively. They are questions meant to be carried forward, to be explored, challenged, and re-examined. The Sumerians speak to us across the ages. Their tablets whisper of a lost past, their myths speak of gods and knowledge, and their ruins stand as monuments to human possibility. The mystery remains, not as a puzzle solved, but as a challenge to our imagination. And perhaps that is the greatest gift they left us, not the knowledge itself, but the reminder that history is full of mysteries worth pursuing. For in the search for forbidden knowledge, we find not only the past, but a reflection of ourselves, curious, questioning, and unafraid to look beyond the veil. The forbidden knowledge of the Sumerians endures. And so does the mystery.